Welcome one and all to another Luke Fruia show. And this one, of course, will be fun. We already, of course, talked about soccer last week. It's officially done and dusted. And now, of course, it's this week for the showcase and all of the fun things of that sort. And, of course, March Madness is officially done and dusted. That as well ended this past weekend. And so there is not too much else, of course, on par basically for us all in sports. Of course, like I mentioned, the showcase this upcoming weekend, softball coming down to a close with baseball as well. There's not too many games left of that. And then on top of it, it just will continue to kind of fizzle down, to say the least. And that will be, of course, very exciting when it comes down to it. Of course, big news with UTRGV. So we'll talk a little bit about that, of course, as they got themselves a new head coach and all of that good stuff. So we're looking forward to seeing how that will all play out, of course, this season. Once again, I'm Jacob Young. This is Rio Sports Live Network, live from Luke Fruia Motors, Luke Fruia Buick, GMC, and Cadillac. If you're in the market for a new car, come check them out in Brownsville, Texas, off of Price Road, Old Alice Road. Again, very exciting. But let's tell you about what is expected to happen this weekend. Like we mentioned, the showcase for Rio Sports Live Network. We have that. Also Friday, Brownsville Veterans taking on Harlingen High School. Then Mission High taking on La Jolla Palmview. And then Brownsville Vets taking on Los Fresnos. That is softball. The first one was baseball, to be exact. The Mercedes taking on Brownsville Rivera. That should be a fun one as well. So those are, of course, the games scheduled for Friday. Now for Thursday, there's nothing there. And for Saturday, of course, we have the showcase at the island all day long, starting from 9 all the way down to the end. So very exciting, like we mentioned. There's some cool things, of course, to talk about, like we mentioned. We'll start off with also the RGV Red Crowns as well. They've announced some of their players that are going to be back, so we'll talk a little bit about that too. It's a good breaking news day. But, of course, let's start off with the Valley. This upcoming Saturday as well in Brownsville, Texas, not to mention there is none other than the spring football game for UTRGV football. That's at Sam's Memorial Stadium. So that's going to be interesting. Their second year that they've done it in Brownsville, to be exact. Their first spring football game that they did happened to be at none other than Brownsville Veterans Memorial Football Stadium, their miniature Sam Stadium in a way, at Brownsville Veterans Memorial Stadium. That was a success. It was a sellout, of course. A lot of people showed up, and it's a spring football game. There's not a lot of spring football games kind of remaining. That's almost a moot point in a way, and what do I mean by that is just basically a lot of teams are shying away from the spring football games, going to just only the spring practices and leaving it at that. I know Texas A&M, they, I think, did their spring football scrimmage this past weekend, and that was, I believe, a success. It might have been under closed doors. So a lot of that is starting to be a little less of a thing, if I'm not mistaken, in general. But this weekend, of course, it is UTRGV and their spring football game, which will be very exciting to see, because right now it's looking like there's not a clear winner for a quarterback, for a starting quarterback job at the moment. We'll find that out, of course, later on, probably throughout the summer training, all of that fun stuff, and then throughout all of that, the differences, to be exact, as well. So there's a lot to kind of go through for this season for UTRGV, a lot of transfers, to say the least, as well. So it kind of goes that way. Not kind of, it does go that way. And so we're looking forward to seeing how that will all play out and if UTRGV will be as successful as people are thinking they will be in FCS and in, of course, Southland Conference for football. Now moving on, though, because this is a big thing. UTRGV, of course, basketball not too long ago. We all know that Fennell went up to none other than Western Michigan. And so who would get the head coaching job for UTRGV and who would end up leaving on the men's side and all of that? Well, there were a couple of players that ended up leaving through the transfer portal, like Corey Cotton, who is now expected to potentially go to Kansas. Ole Miss has offers from a couple of those, has met with them as well. No Texas A&M, of course, just yet. But that it's interesting. Of course, he is wanted by a Big 12 school, an SEC school, I believe a Big 10 school, and in between all of that. So looking to, of course, go from a mid-major to a Power 4 conference and hopefully get, of course, his starting or his minutes that he wants to play, and also, of course, the money that he would likely get with the NIL deals and all of that. So there were a couple of players like him that ended up transferring and or graduating officially, and so that was a big answer indeed of how would a lot of players that are losing the coach that recruited them go about it. And so now for UTRGV basketball officially, it was announced this week, and also he was announced on Monday for UTRGV basketball. Trying to get you the official, of course, announcement for it all. But the men's basketball team will now be coached by, very quickly, of course, just trying to get to it, the news. UTRGV names Brandon Chambers as men's basketball head coach. This was 5 days ago. He was announced, of course, 5 days ago, but then came down to the Valley and officially had his head coach introductory press conference on that Monday. I'm certain he'll have more special interviews with the campus and all of that. So then this was pretty interesting as well. There's right now sources saying, and it's most likely going to be official very soon, for who's the assistant coach going to be, who's going to follow none other than Brandon Chambers to UTRGV for the assistant coaching positions. And this is where things kind of got a little interesting in my eyes, because it now happens to go to the same thing. Is with UTRGV men's basketball, there was a lot of this was that there's potentially chances for UTRGV to sign assistant coach. There were sources that were saying that it would be possibly, I'm trying to find it, there we go. UTRGV men's basketball looks to be Sean Forrest. Reports that he could go as an assistant coach to the Valley, to the men's basketball team, which would be interesting. You sign somebody like Sean Forrest onto the team, basically. He's able to get there. Of course, it's sources saying it right now. It looks to be Sean Forrest, and it's very exciting, to say the least, that that's coming through. And now all of a sudden, if you add somebody like that, who comes next, and what are the types of players that can attract it as well? Because he has been a successful coach in general for Coach Sean Forrest, to the point of where he went a seasoned collegiate basketball coach with over 25 years of experience, joining Will Wade's staff at McNeese State University as an assistant coach before the 2023-24 season, known for his recruiting ability and developing top talent. So that is a big thing. If UTRGV end up getting Coach Sean Forrest like that, there would be a lot of players that would most likely want to come play for him in general. and that would be a big help indeed for the South and just in general with the Southland Conference. Like that is adding building blocks to building blocks to building blocks to really make it a difference to where UTRGV can finally have that push through to potentially win the regular season and have a real opportunity to maybe win a couple of those non-conference games, have their RPI up from 160 to possibly 80 to 70 or something like that, being very close is what I'm saying to having a real chance at NIT tournaments like that. To if they win the conference tournament, going to the NCAA tournament, going to that dance. So it's very much a positive thing for UTRGV trying to build on it. A lot of people thought, and including myself a little bit, saying, okay, you're losing these types of players to NIL. They're moving on to their next step. The coach is leaving as well for a better college in general with their athletic success, which is Western Michigan. And it's going to be tough to fill those shoes. All of a sudden, it's slowly but surely seeming like that's going to be the case now. So looking forward to seeing how the building blocks continue to be built just on the basketball side alone. Not to mention the football side where, as I've said before, for UTRGV football, it's simple. How are they going to face off against University of Texas San Antonio? That's their first test. If they can really compete in a way with UTSA, there is a good chance they finish higher than top 4 in the Southland Conference this season with their schedule. And if that happens, well, you can look for them to possibly get an at-large bid into the tournament, into the playoffs, and that will be very exciting. Most likely they'll be on the road for the whole entire tournament, but if UTRGV have that happen for football, that's a big thing, just in general. But it really kind of depends on that first game, in my eyes, to see how well that they're ready to play against UTSA or anything like that. Any team like that, I should say. So moving on, of course. It was a big day for UTRGV sports, like we mentioned, to the point of, well, it's just looking good, is what we're saying. So I'm excited about that, excited about what there is to bring, and there is a lot of success still to be told. I mean, let's also, now we're still on this topic of UTRGV sports and athletics, let's talk about their baseball team. They had a series this past weekend at home against none other than Northwestern State University. This was a home series. Northwestern State University, one of the top teams in the conference of the Southland Conference, was a big series for Texas, for Texas Rio Grande Valley, UTRGV, because of the fact of how they lost against Texas A&M Corpus Christi. And that was interesting because we talked about it. Texas A&M Corpus Christi came into that winning the first game of that Friday, then losing the second game. The third game ended up taking it convincingly. UTRGV making mistakes there for that game. Then that Tuesday game happens, not good for UTRGV in general. The Wednesday game happens, then it's Thursday, Friday, Saturday because of the Easter weekend. Thursday, UTRGV lose that game. Friday, UTRGV had a chance to really be in control of it. They were up 4-1 for a while, could not score any more runs, and then all of a sudden dropped that game. Unfortunately, 9-6. So that was a frustrating loss for UTRGV. They lose that series. Now can they not get swept on that Saturday? Had an opportunity once again to win that game, loading up the bases. They scored off of bases loaded. That was a positive, but made too many mistakes to the point of where they lost that game. So UTRGV lose and get swept against Northwestern State. That hurts them tremendously. And then they were supposed to play against Houston Christian on Monday, but the torrential rainfall that Edinburgh had Sunday ended up not postponing the game, but canceling the game fully. And since that game was officially canceled, it was all done. It would not be redone. It would not be rescheduled, to be exact. So UTRGV, of course, baseball not having their midweek game, maybe that can help them reset for a series on the road this weekend where they need a sweep. It's almost a must sweep. And why? It's because, well, and somebody said this on Twitter, and it was very interesting to me because I read it, and I could say the same exact thing. Watching UTRGV play last year compared to this year, it felt a lot more of a loose team last year than this year. What does that mean? Well, basically, they're having more fun with the games, and being able to go on that winning streak was key. Having the success. UTRGV this year, it seems like the pressure is on them. The crowds are larger. Everything about it has been very impressive. But UTRGV just have been very stressed in a way lately. So, frustrating, indeed, for the way that UTRGV have played. It's unfortunate that they're on a losing streak at the moment for UTRGV baseball, but I would expect them to be able to bounce back and score runs and be able to win the game, because it's not like this team can't hit. They, early on in the season, UTRGV averaged around over 10 runs per game, and now have not been able to really produce that, have made too many errors on the defensive side, and has ended up being problematic for UTRGV. Indeed, to where, like I mentioned, losing games that they were expected to win, losing games they had chances to win, probability to win as well. And so, unfortunate turn of events. But like I mentioned, they have a chance to bounce back this upcoming weekend with the Friday, Saturday, Sunday series on the road before heading back home after their next Tuesday game to Edinburgh's baseball field, to where they will face off against Southeastern Louisiana on national TV for the 17th. 18th will be back on ESPN+. And it's the 17th, 18th, and the 19th to close out the series, hopefully with a sweep once again. It feels like a must sweep this upcoming weekend, but we'll wait and see. We're going to take a break. When we return, we will have, once again, to talk about the RGV Red Crowns and their season coming up. I'm Jacob Young. This is Rio Sports Live Network. We'll be right back after this. Stay tuned.
100 years ago, in the heart of the Rio Grande Valley, a spark was born. From the first dreamers who stepped onto these grounds, Texas Southmost College has stood as a promise that determination can overcome any challenge. Join us as we honor our past, celebrate our present, and ignite the future together. Texas Southmost College, 100 years strong, and the next 100 begin with you.
Elevation, AT4, AT4X, Denali. Case closed. Fruia GMC, we're professional grade.
I fell on a loose towel at the grocery store, and now they're saying it's my fault. Do you think you could help?
Of course I can help. You should be focused on feeling better.
Oh, thank you, Law Champ. Hey, do you think I can get a selfie?
Of course.
This is the island where adulting takes its own vacation. South Padre is more than an island. It's the island.
Rev up your future with Texas Southmost College's Auto Body Repair Program. In just 2 semesters, you'll gain the skills to become an auto body repair specialist. Learn using industry-standard iCar Academy to get you job-ready fast. If you're ready to drive your career forward, TSC's Auto Body Repair Program is the place to start. Classes are filling fast, so visit tsc.edu and apply today.
Back we go once again here. I'm Jacob Young. This is Rio Sports Live Network, and well, it's going to be exciting for this topic, to be exact. Talking about the RGV Red Crowns coming up, of course, this summer. Their first game of the season will also be their home game. That is on May 16th. So that's looking forward to their season this year, of course. And for the RGV Red Crowns, they have officially announced some of their teams, some of their players. And this is very exciting once again. So the first 3 players that the RGV Red Crowns announced, this was back a couple of days ago, actually 5 days ago to be exact. These were the 3 that the RGV Red Crowns Soccer Club officially announced. And returning, Vicente Alvarez, Diego Torres, and Randy Galvan. I talked highly about these players before, and I will talk highly about them again. Vicente Alvarez, yes, later into the season, wasn't necessarily his best self, to say the least, but he showed he's a history maker for the RGV Red Crowns, scoring the first goal of the RGV Red Crowns history, which was very cool. It was the first home goal, and Vicente Alvarez was the first signee last year that was officially announced too, so something very cool about him again. Scoring a lot of goals, he can be that playmaker, and he's had a lot of season training, to be exact, this year as well. After that, the summer leagues, he went on to try and play professional soccer. He went to the U23s in Pachuca, to be exact, and he was able to play soccer there and trials and everything. So he is very successful and can make that difference. He's a veteran player now, officially, in my books. The way that his soccer knowledge and everything that he knows about for the game, he can be that difference maker indeed. To me, in general, like I said, the sky is a limit for this man. He's really going to have another breakout season. He's going to be one of 11 on the field once again, so there will be a lot of playmakers that will be difference makers for this team in general. I'm expecting a lot of good things for this club. Now, Diego Torres, he's back for another season. He was another key opponent for this side, for the RGV Red Crowns, and Diego Torres did a really good job solidly in the mix of things, as he's from, of course, UTRGV, fullback, Tampico, Tamaulipas to be exact, and he has played for UTRGV, so he has that college soccer experience. Like we mentioned, he was here last year as well and did a very good job. Like I mentioned, was impressed with him. And then the last one, striker, Edinburgh, Texas, out of UTRGV, Randy Galvan. He was a late signee onto the team. He had a lot of late blooming, in a way, to be exact, because of how late, really, he was able to play with the RGV Red Crowns. A fantastic player indeed, and really made a difference when he was on the field. I think this is his breakout season as well. This team's whole breakout season. Let me be clear when I say that the way that they had success, the RGV Red Crowns had success last year, there were a lot of things that were out of their control. Their schedule, especially, they had to play against Dallas teams that some of the Dallas teams didn't want to come down to the RGV, and they prioritized other leagues over the league for clubs, to be exact. And now, of course, it's been a different situation, and Randy Galvan is looking to be that playmaker, that difference maker for this team, just on that side alone. And those were strikers, a fullback, and an attacking midfielder. Like I mentioned, Diego Torres did a good job on that defensive, that really fullback side of things. Now, another three players that are coming back here: Juan David Valencia, Juan Carlos Alvarez Jr., and Diego Rivera. Let's start off, of course, with Juan David Valencia, central defensive midfielder out of Columbia, Midwestern State University. Like I mentioned, he's returning from last year. Again, a solid player when he was needed, especially, which was a lot of times. So Juan David Valencia on that back line, central defensive line to be exact. He will be key. Again, I don't expect for the RGV Red Crowns to really let in a lot of goals, but we all know how dangerous this league can be with just the skill level of every single player on every single team, with the college experience to the academy experience. So this one is one that I'm very excited about. It's only going to help himself out a lot more. That's Juan Carlos Alvarez Jr., JC Alvarez coming back. Of course, he started a couple of matches this last season. He started, of course, the last friendly as well. And that was something, of course, that was interesting for JC Alvarez, because JC Alvarez, he gets the first, he was one of the first signees as well with Vicente Alvarez. And he starts, of course, the first couple of games, first couple of matches, and then all of a sudden, the RGV Red Crowns get this great idea to sign a veteran goalkeeper. So the veteran goalkeeper starts the rest of the matches for the most part, and here's where things really helped. It helped Juan Carlos Alvarez get better at his position, get better at, of course, goalkeeping. In my eyes, at least, you have that type of somebody pushing yourself, considering that the goalkeeper was also a goalkeeping coach on top of that, still playing. So that's where things were very interesting, very cool, is that Juan Carlos Alvarez really got to train with the best possible for a semi-pro soccer team like that. You go on to, of course, the last one, Diego Rivera, winger out of Reynosa, Tamaulipas, and then, of course, played for UTRGV. Diego Rivera coming back for another season with the RGV Red Crowns is only beneficial for the RGV Red Crowns, having that type of depth, having those players that have seen it with the club, that have had their opportunities with the club, and now having this chance to not only make amends, but really push forward and push the rest of the team, and knowing basically what that mentality will be like for this club coming forward. And very excited for this upcoming season. Those are the players at the moment that have officially been named returning, so that is a good thing to definitely see. There's a lot of big, exciting stuff that will be coming up. Like we mentioned, the 2026 home schedule for the RGV Red Crowns. Their home opener, Central Texas, May 16th at 7:30 p.m. They're playing against the Coyotes FC. Austin United FC, May 30th at 7:30 p.m. That one will be exciting. Capital City SC, that's on June 26th at 7:30 p.m. That's going to be the 2026 home schedule once again. And then FC Westlake at home, June 28th at 7:30 p.m. And then the rivalry match to finish off the season on July 3rd at 7:30 p.m. It is PTX SC. So those are your home games. Those are your home matches. Only five home matches to be exact for the regular season. But again, UTRGV or the RTV Red Crowns, I should say, really have this opportunity to go to the playoffs this year and avenge what was last year's devastating elimination from the playoffs, to be exact. Austin United FC loss, a couple of late losses during the season, a couple of matches that didn't end up getting forfeited, to be exact, and just were not played. So that was, of course, unfortunate. UTRGV didn't get any of those 3 points, and they were on the outside looking in basically throughout the rest of that season and could not get the job done. So that's where, of course, the RTV Red Crowns lay at the moment, and it is a very big positive thing that is, of course, with the RGV Red Crowns and their success that they had in the inaugural season. They're only looking to do the exact same thing coming up this season, I should say. And it's not too long away. It's almost a month away, to be exact. A month from Saturday, next Saturday, I should say, for the opening season, their first home match, and I'm getting excited for it, for sure. So looking forward to it. We will take a quick break. I'm Jacob Young. This is Rio Sports Live Network. Stay tuned.
No importa en cuál etapa de tu vida te encuentres, Texas Almus College está aquí para ayudarte a progresar. Ya sea que estés empezando desde cero, cambiando de carrera o adquiriendo nuevas habilidades, TSC tiene programas accesibles diseñados para adaptarse a tus metas. Es hora de dar el siguiente paso. Piensa en grande, piensa claramente, piensa en TSC.
Kenny Perez came from a small town in Texas. At Kenny Perez Law, we won't stop fighting until our clients get what's rightfully theirs. We're right by your side, no matter what. Call Kenny Perez Injury Lawyers today, 956-999-1111.
Permatemp Personnel Services has been servicing local businesses for the past 29 years.
Leave the hiring to us. Let us become your personal hiring guru.
We have a network of skilled employees to fit your needs.
Your success is our strategy.
Don't hesitate. Call us now.
The standard of excellence has always been Cadillac, so be iconic and drive one. Fruia Cadillac, Brownsville, Texas.
It means a lot to me. TSC has changed me to make me realize that I can accomplish things. Just don't give up. I've come a long way from where I was to what I am now, and there's no limit to where I'm going.
Back we go once again here as well. I'm Jacob Young. This is Rio Sports Live Network, talking sports here at Luke Fruia Motors, Luke Fruia Buick GMC, and Cadillac. It's interesting, of course, like we mentioned this weekend, and we would get to talking about it, is, of course, the showcase, which is very exciting. So we have the official rosters for each team, to be exact. The Lightning Boys get ready for this one as we start off with, of course, talking about it's the 6th annual RSLN Basketball Showcase. It'll be at South Padre Islands Convention Center, to be exact, or their Civic Center, however you want to, of course, say it. That's going to be this upcoming Saturday, Sponsored by, of course, South Padre Island, Texas, Southmost College, and Luke Fruia Buick GMC and Cadillac. And going back to it, the Lightning Boys with the 6th annual RSL and Basketball Showcase. Who will be the players? It's going to be number 1, Leo Rivera out of La Jolla Palmview High School. Matthew Quiroga out of Harvest Christian. Eric Contreras, PSJ Memorial. Caleb Cano out of Sherryland Pioneer High School. Great player, of course, cover. Jaden Zavedra out of Harvest Christian. Number 5, of course, Mark Delatorre, number 6, out of Sherryland Pioneer High School. Sean Ho out of Sherryland High School this time. Chris Chavez out of PSJ Memorial. Aiden Wilder Bay out of La Jolla. Justin Salazar out of PSJ Southwest. And Neil Solis out of Edinburgh Economies. Ryan Ruiz out of Sherryland Pioneer. And Orlando Munoz out of Harvest Christian Academy. That is, of course, your roster, your official roster for the Lightning boys. As we announce, of course, these rosters, how about the Racers boys this time, the 6th annual RSLN basketball showcase? For the Racers, the boys team, Buddy James Martinez out of McAllen Memorial. Babatunde Akin Dayomi out of McAllen High School. Max Roque out of PSJ High School. Jaden Grimaldo out of Lasada. Jemiah Rodriguez out of Mercedes. John Wallen out of Ed College Ulsa. Then you have Toby Parker out of Lightford with Jaden Anderson out of PSJ High School. Raul Palacios out of Edinburgh North. Gavino Gutierrez out of La Sara. Raul Palacios out of Edinburgh North. Kai Howard out of PSJ North. Brandon Gonzalez out of PSJ High School. And Mark Bracken out of Brownsville Veterans Memorial. So a little bit of an interesting take on, of course, that roster, which is filled with, of course, 2 players from McAllen High School and McAllen Memorial, Babatunde Akin Dayomi and James Martinez. And then you have PSJ High School's Max Roque, which a lot of them are most either PSJ High School, PSJ North, a couple of Edinburgh North, as well as La Sada High School, and 1 Brownsville Veterans Memorial kind of on this team. So a couple of them, of course, have known each other and played against each other and have that type of chemistry. A couple of them will have to get to know each other if they already have. And so that's always the exciting part about these showcases, especially put on by RSLN. It's a lot of mixture for the teams in general. And so you have players that potentially have never met each other before and just trying to make it as even and as great as possible. The Rebels boys with the 6th annual RSLN basketball showcase. What is their lineup? What is their roster looking like once again? You have J.D. Martinez out of Wesco High School. Austin Perez out of Santa Rosa. Demario Jones out of Edinburgh High School. Jaden Ruiz out of Edinburgh High School, as well as Adrian Champion out of Edinburgh High School as well. 3 straight, of course, out of Edinburgh High School, which is very interesting. Riley Fonseca out of Santa Rosa. Kendrick Velasquez out of Vanguard Beethoven. Kai Fino Swift out of Wesco High School. Eric Cantu out of Vanguard Beethoven. Randy Flores out of Santa Rosa. Michael Fuentes out of Wesco High School. Gunnar Perales out of Edinburgh High School. And Armando Badillo out of Santa Rosa. So very exciting there once again. You have the Storm Boys and their 6th annual RSLN basketball showcase. Aiden Escamilla, Knox Pinkerton, Ricky Henderson, Christian Pirtle, Evan McChesney out of Los Fresnos, Marcus Gutierrez, Jesus Murillo, Tunde Cianbade, Andrew Munoz, Marco Garcia, Leroy, and Jordan Gutierrez, as well as Adolfo Lopez and Gus Gonzalez. A lot of them out of Los Fresnos, Idea Sports Park, Harlingen High School, Brownsville St. Joseph, Los Fresnos, Brownsville St. Joseph, Idea Sports Park as well, Harlingen High, Los Fresnos again, Brownsville St. Joseph, Harlingen High School, Brownsville St. Joseph, and Idea Sports Park. So that one more of course, the Cameron County side of teams, and that's very interesting to say the least, just to see how, of course, the Storm Boys would do on that one. So those are your teams for at least the boys' side of things. How about the girls' side of things? It's going to be very interesting, like we mentioned. How about the Lightning girls' teams? You have Haley Kobos out of Nicky Rowe High School. And then you have Madison Stanfield out of PSJ North. Candadia out of La Jolla High School, as well as Arissa Garcia out of McAllen Memorial, Ava Thomas out of McAllen Memorial, Amber Sanchez out of Nicky Rowe, Ivana Yanez out of Nicky Rowe, as well as Alexandra Gonzalez out of PSJ North, Giselle Montemayor out of Harlingen South, Angel Inwane out of Wesco East, Kenya Camarina out of Nicky Rowe, Debony Garza out of La Jolla, Abby Mendez out of Nicky Rowe, and Isabella Gonzalez out of PSJ North High School. For the Racers girls, this is very interesting. Alia Garza, Anissa Sanchez, Adelila Gonzalez out of Harvest Christian. Anissa Sanchez also out of Harvest Christian to be exact. Elisella Rangel out of Sherryland. Chloe Trevino out of Edinburgh Villa. Olivia Ames out of Sherryland High School. Amber Gonzalez out of Harvest Christian. Alyssa Ramirez out of Sherryland, as well as Stephanie Munoz out of Harvest Christian and Tara Smith out of PSJ High School. Alessandra Torres out of La Feria. Sofia Benitez out of La Jolla Palmview, and Catalina Bernal out of Harvest Christian with Jamie Gonzalez as well. So very interesting there, to say the least. You go down to it, of course, the Rebels girls basketball team. Savannah Trevino, Aubrey Williams, Kaden Villarreal, Carly Martinez, Hayden Martinez, Zoe Shears, Allison Perez, Liliana Elizondo, Allison Miller, Faith Rodriguez, Amaris Martinez, Briseta Chimley, Isabella Gonzalez, Canizales, check that, and Sonia Perez. That's out of Donna High School. A lot of Mission Veterans Memorial, Harlingen High School, Harlingen South, Donna High School, Brownsville Hannah, and Harlingen High again with Harlingen South and Harlingen High and Mission Veterans. So it's a lot of players that have, again, have played it with each other, and so they'll have those teammates. They'll have that type of teammate chemistry in general, and so that's always, of course, a fun side to see. How about for the Storm girls, that final team? We have Carly Rodriguez out of Rio Hondo, Miranda Carpio out of Brownsville St. Joseph, Andrea Arredondo out of Wesco High School, Layla Gonzalez out of Wesco High, Jasmine Garcia out of Lyford, Romina Tovar out of Brownsville St. Joseph, Nyla Patterson out of Lafayette. And then Brooklyn Burns out of Lyford, Garza out of Wesco High School as well. Camila Perez out of Wesco High, Brianna Garcia out of Lyford, Maria Alvarez out of Brownsville St. Joseph, Daniela Lopez out of Los Fresnos, and Herlinda Rivera out of Lafayette. Ayuki Trevino out of Brownsville Rivera as well to finish up, of course, the lineups of rosters for this showcase. So it should be a very exciting one, like we mentioned, and I cannot wait to see how it will all play out and all be, to be exact. So very exciting for this showcase, and again, I'm looking forward to it. It's all just one day at South Padre Island, so it will start off from the first game being at 9 a.m., the last game being at, I believe, 8:30 p.m. It's going to be the two championship games at around 4:30 and 5, or around 5:30. I believe we have the schedule somewhere. If I can find it, I will let you all know officially, because this is a big thing indeed to have the schedule for the RSLN showcase. And we'll have it right here for you all. Yes, indeed. So the first game, 9 a.m., Girls Lightning versus Racers. 10:45 a.m., Girls Storm versus Rebels. 12:15 p.m., Boys Lightning versus Racers. 2 p.m., Boys Storm versus Rebels. 3:30 p.m., Girls Championship. 5 p.m., Boys Championship. 6:30 p.m., Girls Consolation, and 8:15 p.m. will be the Boys Consolation. So it is just basically a semifinals for both sides, and then we'll head into, of course, the championship games, and then finish it off with a champion, which is really cool, really nice. It is a tournament-style and it goes straight to tournament bracket play instead of having those games that are, well, the group play to be exact, and then the pool play, and then all of a sudden you from there have at least quarterfinals for the Sunday and the tournament play from then on. So something that's very interesting, to say the least, is that indeed. Looking forward to it, though. Once again, I'm Jacob Young. This is Rio Sports Live Network. We're going to take one more break. When we return, we'll finish off the show. So stay tuned. I'm Jacob Young. This is Rio Sports Live Network. Don't go anywhere.
Turn your passion into a powerful career at Texas Southmost College. Our automotive technology program will train you in everything from maintenance to full vehicle systems repair. Earn a certificate or associate degree and get certified to work as a C maintenance or B-level technician. You'll be guided by seasoned instructors who have decades of real-world automotive experience, helping you get ready to roll into the industry. So take the wheel and apply today at tsc.edu.
If you've been in a car crash, call Kenny. We're available to take your call 24/7, and we don't charge a fee unless we win your case. When you're in a car crash, call Kenny. Call 999-1111 now for a free consultation.
At Tortilleria Ibañez, flavor starts fresh every day. Crispy flautas, homemade tamales, and our signature chicken salad, all made for you. Tortilleria Ibañez, tradition on every plate.
Back we go once again here, and of course, talking about the Final Four, the championship games to be exact, this past weekend. We all expected it. We'll start off with, of course, the women's side of things, which was going to be an interesting Final Four, to say the least. UCLA, Texas, and South Carolina, UConn. South Carolina, UConn, that was the championship game a year prior to that. And it was very interesting, to say the least. All of a sudden, UConn struggled to score a lot of points. South Carolina took advantage of that, winning comfortably in that first semifinal game. And then the second one, of course, UCLA taking on Texas. That one was going to be a very difficult one. Again, both of those games, you could definitely say, because they were all four of number one seeds that made it into the Final Four, that could be considered, those championship games. Like, these could potentially be better than the actual championship itself. UCLA took care of business against Texas and won their Final Four game to face off against South Carolina for the national championship. And that one was going to be interesting. That Final Four took place in Arizona, and the coolest part about that was, of course, it was in an arena, which right now, of course, that's just normal for at least women's basketball to be in for that Final Four. The cool part was that UCLA facing off against South Carolina. How was that game going to go? We'll talk about, of course, what happened at the end of the UConn South Carolina game, because it was distraction for Don Staley in the end, because UCLA came out scoring points. They won by, I believe, close to 29 points or around there, and absolutely blowing out none other than Don Staley and University of South Carolina for the championship, and took care of business, which was what they wanted to do, what they came out to do, and that was UCLA's first technically NCAA women's basketball championship. What do I mean by technically is they had won a national championship before it was NCAA women's basketball. So that was what ended up kind of coming from it. And UCLA, of course, got the job done in the women's side of things. Now, the men's side, the Final Four was going to be interesting. It was none other than Michigan taking on Arizona, and UConn taking on the Fighting Illini of Illinois. And the first game on tap was UConn versus Illinois, the Fighting Illini. And UConn took care of business in that game, winning comfortably in Indianapolis at Lucas Oil Stadium, to be exact. Completely taking care of business, not allowing for Illinois to really get close to them. Kind of coming back into it now for the Michigan Wolverines. There was an opportunity for the Michigan Wolverines to really do damage against the almost top 1 seed. And it was, well, Arizona. Everyone thought that Arizona was most likely going to win the national championship. And Arizona playing against none other against the Michigan Wolverines. All of a sudden, Michigan came out to play. Were scoring points, were really dominating the paint, dominating the whole entire game. And sure enough, Michigan almost, what I mean by almost got the job done is they got the job done against Arizona and really showed that, okay, they're the team to beat in the national championship. They should be favored, and they were going to be the 1 seed. UConn, of course, a 2 seed at that time. And UConn played against Michigan in the national championship game. UConn held their own for a while there, but early on missed open layups, open opportunities. Michigan were playing aggressively. So were the UConn Huskies. And it was close, not necessarily back and forth. UConn really never did have a lead in the second half. And that helped the Michigan Wolverines really take advantage of it. And all of a sudden, they were able to get the job done and won the national championship by 6 points. It was 69-63, if I'm not mistaken, was the final score. UConn hitting a late 3 to try to get back into it. It was about 45 seconds left, which, if anyone knows me, of course, being a Texas A&M fan, I've seen the craziest comeback, 2 crazy comebacks in history for basketball and for football. Of course, the craziest basketball comeback was Texas A&M University down by, I believe, 19 with about a minute to go against none other than, or a little less than that, against none other than Northern Illinois and Northern Iowa. Check that. And Texas A&M won that game in the end to make it to the Sweet 16. That was a very special team for Texas A&M University. Now for the football game, of course, against South Carolina, absolutely insane comeback in general for that game as well. So then Texas A&M, of course, UConn trying to get back into it, hitting a late 3. We're able to trap missing none other than Michigan missed a couple of free throws, and UConn trying to go back down the court, trying to score, could not. In the end, it gets knocked away, and champions are the Michigan Wolverines. So congratulations to them. They deserved it and have a chance to do something that is kind of unexpected. And what do I mean by unexpected? Well, for example, the Michigan Wolverines are also in the Frozen Four, which is the hockey Final Four in NCAA. So they have a chance to win that championship as well. 2023, of course, winning the football national championship. So very, very exciting to see how that will all play out in the end. As once again, if Michigan get that job done, oh boy, is that exciting. So the UConn Huskies, of course, just were shy from going back-to-back, from being back-to-back national champions. The UConn women's basketball team, of course, also losing, unfortunately, for them. So something, of course, to think about that ended up happening for the national championship itself. Again, looking forward to what is coming up this weekend, like I mentioned, at South Padre Island for the showcase. And that will be fun to watch, indeed. Not too much else to really talk about for the most part, as, again, a lot of sports coming down to the wire, coming down to the end. 31-5A for a second here for baseball was pretty interesting last night. Got to cover Sherryland Pioneer taking on none other than McAllen Memorial High School. McAllen Memorial kept it close in the first couple of innings, and then all of a sudden, Sherryland Pioneer got their bats going, loading up the bases, the key part, and all of that, and scoring the runs that they needed to score, making it 13-4 at the time. It wasn't a 10-run lead, so the game could not end in 5. And then all of a sudden, McAllen Memorial trying to get back into it. Quick 3-up, 3-down innings, a couple of those, and all of a sudden it was into the 7th. And Pioneer Diamondbacks get stopped very quickly. Ended up being another, I believe, 3-up, 3-down or close to it. And McAllen Memorial came back into it. They scored a run. Made it none other than 13-5, but there was opportunities for them to score more runs. Could not do it in the bottom half of the 7th inning. And Sherryland Pioneer close out the game. They win it. A big victory for themselves. Looking forward, of course, because for Sherryland Pioneer in their game, they win that one. They hold first place still over Sherryland High School. It's something to keep an eye on from Max Preps, to be exact. So Sherryland Pioneer baseball in a good spot, to say the least, for some baseball action. 13-5, like I mentioned, your final from last night. 10-2 in district, officially second in district, potentially. So apparently updated it. Sherryland High School beat Rowe. Don't know if that's correct with the 10-1 in district play for Sherryland High School. We'll have to double check that, but that's what Max Preps is saying, that Pioneer Diamondbacks fell to second place. But either way, third place would be PSA North, still 7-3, so we'll see if that, what their actual record is. And McAllen Memorial outside looking in, 6-6. And Edinburgh Vella 4-7, and McAllen High School 3-7 with PSA Memorial 2-9 and PSA Southwest 0-9. Now for the Pioneer Diamondbacks, their last scheduled games, I should say, coming up after this one, of course, Fridays, I should say, is against PSA. Check that against McAllen High School, against Sherryland High School. Will be at Sherryland High School, and then versus Rowe to finish off the season like it started. So with 3 more games left for the Pioneer Diamondbacks, it's looking like they could potentially at least win 2 out of their last 3 games of the season and potentially win district that way, or even if they don't win district, finish second place and be one of those teams to really keep an eye on. It was crazy after the game, of course. I'm over there trying to give player of the game to the player of the game, and it was something that was very interesting. The coach, of course, was upset with how it ended up happening, with how the game ended up happening, because it was 13-5 your final, but Sherryland Pioneer missed opportunities to really end the game earlier. And the coach went back to it and said, look, there were times where it was like lack of focus, basically. You had opportunities to put this team away earlier. If it's a better team, they're going to take advantage of that, basically, is what he was basically saying and telling his team, look, you're there, we can be even better, which is the right mentality to have late into the season like this. So looking forward to seeing how everything will go and everything will play out. So very exciting. And looking forward to this season. But once again, the end of the season. Really quickly, 32-5 a.m. No, everyone is most likely asking about that very quickly. So we'll go with, of course, none other than the Westlaco, of course, East baseball, just to get you all an idea of where everyone is for the standings, because that's a big game. In general, Westlaco East will play against none other than the Porter Cowboys this upcoming Friday as well, back at home. And so right now it says that Westlaco East lead the district 12-1. Harlingen High School, Harlingen South to be exact, 11-2. Brownsville Ravenna 11-2 in third place. Donna High School 7-6 in fourth. Holding it steady is Mercedes Tigers end up being 6 and 7. Same with Brownsville Porter and Donna North. Then the Pace Vikings at 3 and 10. Ed Calgels at 1 and 11. And Brownsville Lopez at 1 and 11. Just, of course, to keep you all updated on that side. So thank you all so very much for watching. We will see you all very soon. Take care. I've been Jay.